Hello, this is Sarah Brash. Welcome back to my channel. So I want to make a few really quick videos tonight. I just sort of want to get a few videos out. Been meaning to make videos for a while. And this video is addressed to Johnny Depp. And I want to ask him to please sue the ACLU and the Washington Post. And I'm sure pretty much the entire world is aware that Johnny Depp just basically won his defamation suit against Amber Heard. And I'm thrilled. And I'm not just thrilled for Johnny Depp. I mean, I was already thrilled for Johnny Depp, just that he actually had a real meaningful opportunity to try to secure justice in the courts, which so few people have, and in particular so few victims of cancel culture have. And this is one of the reasons why, and I've made videos about this, that we have to revisit New York Times v. Sullivan, because right now the fake news press has carte blanche to vilify, to try to drive private citizen nobodies like myself to suicide for moral outrage, industry, money, and gain. And they can do this with near impunity because of the definition of public figure in the case law regarding the Supreme Court ruling New York Times v. Sullivan, which makes it incredibly difficult, especially for innocent private citizen nobodies like myself, to sue the New York Times, to sue the Washington Post for defamation after they've decimated our lives, driven some people to suicide, destroyed our reputations, destroyed our livelihoods, destroyed our careers. My lifelong human and civil rights, academic and legal career was destroyed. And the Washington Post did this to me as well. The Washington Post is evil. The Washington Post defines fake news press. The Washington Post is a Sean King the Appeal /ACLU style Twitter race hustler. Their bread and butter is driving private citizen nobodies to suicide for more outrage, industry, money, and gain. All they do now is perpetrate living while black and Me Too race and hate crime hoaxes. That's all they do. That's their bread and butter. That's what they do. And they did this to me. The Washington Post actually published a front page news story, if you can believe it, about a white women only Facebook yoga group. And they did this for the sole purpose of defaming me as the Yale Nazi who lynches black students at Yale once again, to put my life in the gravest of danger. The Washington Post also published Michael Harriot, formerly of The Root, and now he's with the Grio, both evil fake news press organizations. And Michael Harriot published an op-ed in the Washington Post in which he named me, which can only be construed as a death threat against me. This was published by the Washington Post, in which he basically accused me of lynching black students at Yale and said I was just like Ahmaud Arbery's killers, just like Carolyn Bryant, who was the person who falsely accused Emmett Till, which led to his lynching. So the Washington Post is straight up an evil organization. The ACLU is an evil organization. The ACLU continues to this day, their now more than 4-year campaign to drive me to suicide and decimate my life, my lifelong human and civil rights, academic and legal careers. And the ACLU also, their campaign against me is a campaign to publicly shame me for my mental health disabilities by grossly violating my privacy. The ACLU is evil. The very first thing that Deborah Archer thought was the most important thing she needed to do as the brand new president of the ACLU was to team up with the then appeal president, Josie Duffy Rice, and to drive me to suicide. And that's what Deborah Archer thought was the most important first thing that she needed to do as the brand new president of the ACLU. I also have strong reason to believe that they also may have been involved in my being swatted multiple times, particularly in the spring of 2021, about a year ago, right after Deborah Archer became the brand new president of the ACLU. So the ACLU has waged that campaign against me to drive me to suicide for more than 4 years now. So the ACLU is completely evil. I have strong reason to believe that the ACLU was a major player, a major full-fledged participant in the Living or Napping While Black hate crime hoax at Yale, that they actually orchestrated the hate crime hoax, took part in it, along with the Yale administration, probably at the behest of the Yale administration, and that they were working with Lolita Ciambola and Jean-Louis Renison before May 8, 2018 to orchestrate the entire hate crime hoax. I have strong reason to believe that the ACLU did that, and also in collaboration with Sean Kane. And of course, Sean Kane is the Twitter race hustler who is synonymous with the Appeal, which is now defunct. They're trying to revive it, but the Appeal needs to stay dead, because the Appeal is also a Sean Kane slash ACLU style Twitter race hustler whose bread and butter has always been driving private citizen nobodies to suicide. And the reason why we have to revisit New York Times v. Sullivan is because what happens is that someone like me, as long as like New York Times pretends that the utter non-event and non-crime that took place at Yale, complete non-event, the least, what happened at Yale during the Living or Napping While Black hate crime hoax was the least newsworthy thing that happened on May 8, 2018, I promise you. And so what happens with New York Times v. Sullivan, the way the fake news press uses this to protect themselves so that they can drive private citizen nobodies, particularly vulnerable persons with mental health disabilities, particularly persons without the resources to defend themselves against the attacks from a huge, super powerful organization like the New York Times or the Washington Post. The reason why is because public figure is defined. There can be involuntary public figures. So if you're involved in an item, event, and an event that's deemed to be a matter of public interest, then you can be, basically reported on, doxxed, defamed, smeared. They can say pretty much whatever they want about you, and you have no recourse. You have no recourse in the courts. They can do this with basically impunity because they're pretending that some non-event that you were involved in is an actual matter of public interest. What happened at Yale during the Living or Napping While Black hate crime hoax at Yale was a matter of no interest to anyone, least of all the public. And then an incident that occurred that is just epitomizes this, that exemplifies this so perfectly, is when Newsweek in particular, there were others, but Newsweek in particular pretended that some miscreant making a TikTok video of her little old white lady busybody neighbor who didn't like the Tigger flag on her porch. She pretended that was some kind of hate crime, and then she blasted this little old white lady, around the world by making this TikTok video of her and putting it on social media. So that's bad enough. But then Newsweek comes along, and Newsweek is like, wow, we can make a whole slew of Black trauma, moral outrage industry money by trying to get this little old white lady, busybody neighbor killed. And we can do it with impunity because we're protected, because we're going to pretend like this utter non-event that was a matter of no interest to anyone, least of all the public. We'll pretend like it's a matter of public interest, and like this little old white lady busybody neighbor actually perpetrated some kind of hate crime against her neighbor because she didn't like her Tigger flag on her porch. And then we'll blast them all over Newsweek, and we'll get people rioting in the streets because of some little old white lady neighbor. So this is what they do. This is what the fake news press does. And they've done it extremely successfully, especially in the past 4 years, and truly, and especially on college campuses. Them doing this was really what happened to me at Yale during the Living or Not Being While Black hate crime hoax was really what kicked this all off. And they have just been going gangbusters ever since. They've just been trying to get one, private citizen nobody after another killed for Black trauma, moral outrage industry money, and they all do it. LA Times, New York Times, AP, NPR, PBS, Washington Post, they all do it. CNN, MSNBC, NBC, they all do it. They all do it. And this is why we have to revisit New York Times v. Sullivan. But this is also why I am so thrilled that Johnny Depp won his defamation suit against Amber Heard, because it became very clear during the trial that the ACLU was conspiring, collaborated with Amber Heard to defame Johnny Depp in the Washington Post, and so that they just basically, that they were paid off. The ACLU was paid off by Amber Heard and by whoever else was giving the ACLU money on behalf of Amber Heard, and they were paid off to write this op-ed, this defamatory op-ed to destroy Johnny Depp in the Washington Post, like millions and millions of dollars. And so I'm so thrilled that this came out in the trial, and I'm so thrilled that Johnny Depp won his defamation suit against Amber Heard, because this shows that I've been telling the truth. People have been calling me a liar for more than 4 years, and I have been every single word that I've spoken about the Living or Not Being While Black hate crime hoax at Yale, the witch hunt at Yale, the mobbing at Yale, the global defamation and vilification campaign led by Yale against me that almost got me killed. Every single word that I've said, including every single word I've said about the ACLU, is true. Even though everyone has called me a liar, I've been smeared left and right as a dangerous, delusional psycho, so that people don't have to face accountability for what they did to me during the witch hunt at Yale, including the ACLU. And this coming out in the Johnny Depp Amber Heard defamation trial, what the ACLU did, what the Washington Post did, what they did together to try to destroy Johnny Depp for millions of dollars, is exactly what the ACLU and the Washington Post did to me. And this proves, or this is strong reason to believe, for people to believe that I've been telling the truth, which I have, the entire time about everything. I've been telling the truth the entire time about everything. The ACLU is a perpetrator of race and hate crime hoaxes, of Living While Black and Me Too hoaxes. The Washington Post is a perpetrator of race and hate crime hoaxes, of Living While Black and Me Too hoaxes. They're both evil organizations, fake news presses. They are part of the moral outrage industry. They are part of the Get Sarah Brosh Killed Black Trauma Moral Outrage industry. They both need to be shuttered in abject shame. They're evil. They're destroying our country. They're destroying our society. They're destroying our legal system. They're basically just trying to get as many private citizen nobodies killed as they can via woke KKK cancel culture and trial by Twitter. That's their raison d'etre. That's why they exist. We would be so much better off if they were both shuttered and just didn't exist anymore. The ACLU needs to not exist anymore. The Washington Post needs to not exist anymore. We're better off with no press at all than a fake news press like the Washington Post. We're better off with no civil society at all, rather than having a woke KKK organization like the ACLU that lies to the public and whose only purpose is to perpetrate hoaxes, Living While Black and Me Too hoaxes, to destroy the lives of private citizen nobodies for moral outrage industry money. And they're evil. They're evil organizations, and they need to not exist anymore. And it would thrill me to no end. I already love Johnny Depp forever for everything that he's done. It just, well, his winning that defamation suit against Amber Heard was not just about him. It was a win for all cancel culture victims. All of the cancel culture victims, especially the ones who have already committed suicide, who never had a chance to get their day in court, who never had a chance to even try to fight for justice. And I include myself in that. Even though I'm pursuing some legal efforts against Yale, I haven't been able to sue anyone for defamation. And this is also why Sarah Palin's defamation suit against the New York Times is so important. And I want her to take it all the way to the Supreme Court, all the way to SCOTUS. And what I'm hoping for is that there will be dicta in the ruling, and I hope that there'll be dicta that can be cited as authoritative case law, as authoritative precedent, and I'm hoping that there will be dicta that will address the definition of public figure and say that it is not okay for the fake news press, including the Washington Post, including the New York Times, to pretend that non-events, especially on social media, are actual news events that are matters of public interest, so that they can try to drive to suicide the private citizen nobodies involved in those events, involved in those snippets of out of context video, involved in those Karen's Gone Wild videos, that they pretend that these are actual newsworthy events so that they can make Black trauma moral outrage industry money by getting a private citizen nobody killed, destroying their career, destroying their life. This is what the Washington Post did to me. This is what the ACLU did to me. And please, Johnny Depp, please sue them. Please sue them into oblivion. Please sue them out of business. I am begging you. You would thrill me to no end if you sued the ACLU for what they did to you, because you would be suing them also for what they did to me, because what they did to you is what they did to me. Please, I'm begging you. It would thrill me to no end, Johnny Depp, if you would sue the Washington Post into oblivion. Sue them for what they did to you, because what the Washington Post did to you is exactly what the Washington Post did to me. And if you win, it is a win for me, it is a win for you, it is a win for every cancel culture victim, especially the ones who have already committed suicide. So please sue them. And the one last thing, I've already addressed this, but the one last thing I want to say about the Johnny Depp Amber Heard defamation suit is that what Amber Heard and the online vilification of Amber Heard is not the death of Me Too. The woke KKK monsters who destroyed Living While Black by turning it into a race hoax and blood sport to target and demonize white women, they're the ones, that is when Me Too died. They are the ones that killed Me Too. And they have only themselves to blame. They have only themselves to blame. And I'll stop there because I don't want this video to get too long, but I love you all so much. And thank you for all your support. Please subscribe. Please donate to my legal fund. I will have my fundraising links below. And please like, comment, and share my videos. I love you all so much, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay.